Every generation or so, a player emerges who doesn't merely compete. They transform the very idea of what's possible. For the Philippines, that player is Alexandra Eella. If you've been following the WTA Tour in 2026, you already sense that something special is unfolding. This is the year the 20-year-old Filipino prodigy crossed the threshold from promising talent to genuine force of nature on the world stage. From a historic title run in Mexico, to a breathtaking display of dominance in China, to now stepping onto the legendary red clay of Rome's Italian Open, Alex Eala is writing a story her country has never seen before. Today, we break down her remarkable 2026 campaign. We examine how she dismantled Mei Yamaguchi at the Jing Shan International, how she weathered a grueling clay court battle against Magdalena Fresh, and what it will take for her to settle the score against the formidable 31st seed Wang Xinyu on the hallowed grounds of the Nicola Petronelli Stadium. To truly appreciate the way Eala is riding into Rome, we need to go back to where it all ignited. Guadalajara, where potential became reality. The foundation of her 2026 season was laid in Mexico at the Guadalajara Open. For years, the tennis world watched Eala climb the ladder. Junior Grand Slam titles, grueling ITF circuit matches, gradual but steady progress. Guadalajara, however, was the moment the tennis world stopped watching and started paying attention. In a final that will be etched into Philippine sports history, Eala faced gritty Hungarian veteran Panna Udvardy in a match that tested every fiber of her being. What followed wasn't just a victory, it was a declaration. She clawed back from the edge, dug into reserves of willpower most players never find, and claimed her first WTA 125 title, dropping her racket in raw disbelief the moment it was over. The win did more than boost her ranking. It rewired her belief system. She left Mexico knowing, without question, that she belonged among the best, that she had the stamina to survive three-set wars and the mental steel to close out championship points when the pressure became almost unbearable. Jing Shan, a hurricane in human form. If Guadalajara was a test of endurance, the Jing Shan International in Hubei, China was an exhibition of pure, terrifying power. The match everyone was talking about. Round 2, Alex Eala versus Japan's Mei Yamaguchi. Coming off a demanding opening round encounter against Belarus's Alyona Fillet, which included 2 tight sets and a lengthy medical timeout, questions swirled around Eala. Was she fatigued? Would a lingering injury limit her movement? She answered on the very first point. From the moment the match began, it was clear Eala had come for one thing. Her heavy, looping topspin forehand tore off the hardcourt surface, pinning Yamaguchi deep behind the baseline with nowhere to breathe and nothing to attack. Eala wasn't just playing tennis, she was conducting a masterclass. The numbers tell the story plainly. In the first set, she raced to a 5-0 lead without facing a single break point. Yamaguchi finally scratched her way onto the board with a 40-30 advantage in the 6th game, a brief flicker of hope, but Eala simply shifted gears, erased the game point, attacked the second serve, and broke again to seal a flawless bagel in just 26 minutes. 6-love. The second set brought marginally more resistance. Yamaguchi managed to break serve and claw to within 4-3, but a true champion doesn't flinch. Eala swept the final 2 games and closed the match in 1 hour and 12 minutes, 6-0, 6-3. It wasn't just a win. It was a message sent to every locker room on the tour. Alex Eala isn't here to participate. She's here to dominate. The clay court education. As the tour moved from Asian hard courts to the unforgiving red clay of Europe, the challenges multiplied. Clay is a different world entirely. It demands elite endurance, precise sliding technique, and the patience to construct points that can stretch past 20 shots without a single lapse in focus. Eala's transition to the dirt wasn't seamless. There was a hard-fought clash against fellow left-handed phenom Isla Fernandez in Stuttgart. There was a spirited but ultimately unsuccessful singles run in Madrid, where she shone brightly in doubles alongside close friend Sepp Sunmemes of Turkey before falling in the second round to the defensive brilliance of Elise Mertens. But losses on clay are rarely wasted. As a product of the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain, Eala understands the surface as deeply as any young player alive. She absorbed every tactical lesson Madrid and Stuttgart had to offer, packed her bags, and set her sights on one of the most storied tournaments in the sport.
Rome.
The Italian Open. The Internazionale BNL d'Italia. Rome. The Gladiators Arena May at the Italian Open is unlike anywhere else on the tennis calendar. The crowds are passionate to the point of ferocity, the clay is heavy and slow, and the competition is absolutely merciless. Alex Eala arrived in Italy with unfinished business. Last year, her debut at the Italian Open was a sobering lesson. But the player who walked through the gates of Rome in 2026 is an entirely different competitor. Round 1. The Polish wall in the first round. Eala was drawn against Magdalena Fred of Poland, precisely the kind of seasoned, clever opponent capable of exposing a young player on clay. Fred's game is built on consistency, redirecting pace, and manufacturing unforced errors from rivals who lose patience. The opening set looked like a repeat of Jing Shan. Eala came out blazing, painting the lines with her backhand and serving with surgical precision. Another devastating bagel, 6-love, delivered with ruthless efficiency. But Fred didn't travel this far to fold quietly. In the second set, the veteran adjusted. She raised her trajectories, stripped away the pace, and dragged Eala into the kind of long, grinding, suffocating rallies that clay courts were invented for. The momentum swung completely. Fred broke serve, held her own, and leveled the match by taking the second set 6-3. Suddenly, this was a dogfight. A third set on the clay of Rome. This is where bodies and minds are stripped down to their raw essentials. The decider was tense and fiercely contested, but when the pivotal moments arrived, Eala leaned on her heavy topspin to push Fred beyond her comfort zone. She converted the critical break points, served fiercely under pressure, and closed out the match 6-4, winning the thriller 6-0, 3-6, 6-4. She had survived the Polish wall and marched forward. The rematch, redemption at the Petronelli, and that brings us to today, May 8th, 2026. The setting, the breathtaking Nicola Petronelli Stadium, an arena ringed by ancient Roman statues and soaked in decades of tennis history. The occasion, the round of 64. The opponent, 31st seed Wang Xinyu of China. This is not merely a second-round match. This is a rematch. This is about redemption. Earlier this year, during the Australian Swing, these two players collided in the semi-finals of the ASB Classic in Auckland. It was a brutal, physically punishing encounter, the kind of match that leaves marks long after the final point. Wang Xinyu, comfortably seated inside the world's top 35, edged Eala in a nail-biting three-setter. 5-7, 7-5, 6-4. A heartbreaker. A match that slipped through Eala's fingers by the narrowest of margins. Wang is a formidable obstacle. Having received a first-round bye, the 24-year-old Chinese star arrives in Rome fresh, rested, and dangerous. Her game is built on aggression, flat, penetrating ground strokes, a massive first serve, and a precise understanding of how to target Eala's backhand under pressure. But Eala arrives with momentum and battle-hardened clay court legs. She just survived a 2-hour war against Fred, meaning her eye is sharp and her movement on the dirt is already finely calibrated. The tactical blueprint for Eala is clear. Wang wants to play fast. Eala must play heavy. She needs to deploy that Nadal-esque left-handed forehand to rip high-bouncing topspin cross-court, forcing Wang to strike balls from above the shoulder. She must protect her second serve, knowing Wang is notorious for stepping inside the baseline to punish anything short or weak. And, crucially, she cannot allow Wang to settle into the center of the court. The wide angles of the Petronelli must be weaponized, stretching the Chinese star side to side, taxing her lungs in the Roman afternoon heat. More than a tennis player, when you watch Alex Eala compete, you aren't simply watching a tennis match. You are watching the product of thousands of hours of unseen, unglamorous sacrifice. You are watching a young woman who left her homeland at 13 years old to train in Spain, trading a normal childhood for the solitary, demanding life of a professional athlete. Her game is a beautiful contradiction. On the surface, she is strikingly composed, Rarely showing frustration, her expression a mask of focused intensity, reading her opponent like a grandmaster analyzing a chessboard. But beneath that stillness burns a ferocious, relentless desire to win. Her footwork is immaculate, gliding across clay with the grace of a dancer, then planting with the explosive force of a sprinter. Her backhand down the line is a laser. Her forehand is a heavy, spinning weapon of mass destruction. But her greatest weapon is the flag on her chest. Every time Alexandra Eella walks onto a tennis court, she carries the hopes of over 100 million Filipinos. In a nation historically captivated by basketball and boxing, she has single-handedly carved out a place for tennis in the hearts of her people. When she plays, the Philippines stops. When she wins, an entire archipelago erupts in celebration. She is more than an athlete. She is a trailblazer. She is the pearl of Philippine sports. The story isn't over. The 2026 season has a long way yet to run. Whether she is lifting trophies in Guadalajara, dismantling opponents in Jing, or sliding into forehands on the red clay of Italy, one truth has become unmistakably clear to the rest of the WTA Tour. Alexandra Eella is no longer a rising star. She is here, right now, a genuine threat to anyone on any surface, on any given day. As she steps onto the iconic clay of the Petronelli Stadium to face Wang Xinyu, the world watches. The history books lie wide open, and Alexandra Eella holds the pen. Will she avenge Auckland? Will she continue her march toward the very top of the tennis world? If this season has taught us anything, it's one simple lesson: never bet against the pride of the Philippines. The court is swept, the net is taut, the stage is set.